My review of the Geissele SSP. The Geissele Single Stage Precision is Geissele's first entry into the single stage trigger market. Now, Geissele was traditionally known for two-stage triggers, and they did also have their Super 3-gun trigger, which a lot of people said was very single stage trigger-like, which I would agree. I have a couple of those, and those are really nice, fast triggers. I ran them in my 3-gun rifles, as the name would imply. However, when I first heard that Geissele was coming out with a single stage trigger, I was really curious to see what it would be, you know, how it compares to their 3-gun trigger, how it was different, how reliable it would be, how it feels, because Geissele is traditionally known for more of that duty and combat type trigger market. My name is Dave Tim from Guns and Tactics. Thank you very much for spending a few minutes with me checking out my review of the Geissele SSP. Now, I did have a good amount of viewers who saw my first look video, which you can find right there, and I did film that over a year ago, and they were like, where's the review, where's the review, where's the review? So yes, I know it has been a long time in the making, so here is the review. Bottom line up front, it has ran flawlessly, zero issues. We're going to take it apart, see how it's held up, but I probably have 3,000-ish rounds through this trigger, and this trigger did make its way round a couple of guns because I wanted to, run it as much as I could. So it's right now in my SBR. This is my my main SBR when I, go to classes or whatever, that I run just a standard red dot gun. So I ran it in this. Probably 2,000 plus of those rounds were ran on this rifle. And then over the summer, I did throw it in my new Sweet 16 rifle, and I went to a class and I did some practice and stuff, and it ran flawlessly in that. Now, in my first look video, we kind of talked a little bit about what it looked like, so I'll be rolling some of that footage in so you can see what it looks like when it comes out of the package. The trigger is made from S7 tool steel and machined from wire EDM cut, and it is finished in a black oxide finish. In a few moments here, we'll take it out and see how it's kind of held up. Industry disclosure, I do want to get that out of the way. I'm not receiving any money from Geissele. I don't get paid by Geissele. I did receive this trigger as a sample. I've met the crew at Geissele at various trade shows and stuff over the years, and when we were just talking, basically they said, hey, if you want to check one out, here you go, and I was given a trigger to evaluate. But like I said, there's no contract, there's no agreements or whatever. You're going to hear my opinion. Now, retail on this is $240. You can find them a little bit less, especially on holiday sales, promo sales, through their dealers, whatever, but $240 is MSRP. Now, as far as feel, I wish I could transfer that to you, but obviously I can't, it's a video. But I do want to touch on that. It is a light trigger. They advertise the pull range as 3 to 3.75 pounds. You can put a heavier spring in to increase that weight a little bit. However, mine is actually just under 3 pounds. On average with my trigger pull gauge, I'm getting right about 210, 212 ounces, 2 pounds 12 ounces, 2 pounds 10 ounces. So it's just under 3 pounds. Mine's like a 2 3/4. For some people, that might be an issue if you have a policy requirement or if you just prefer a heavier trigger. And then the other thing I do want to talk about, and I'm going to zoom in here and get a little bit of detailed footage, and that is kind of the creep of a trigger. Now, it's not like the crisp, most short, precise trigger of like that of a super high-end bolt gun or like the Geissele Super 700 trigger. I'm manipulating here with 2 fingers because when I just press the trigger traditionally, I don't really perceive that creep or that movement, because by the time my trigger builds up enough muscle to move that 2 3/4 pound trigger, it just breaks. So I don't really perceive it. However, if I move it very carefully, you can see that the trigger does move and then breaks. So yeah, there is some movement, but it's not very much. When I measured it with the caliper here, it was 0.62 inches, give or take, and that's depending on how I was measuring it from the center to the center, and when I would basically zero the caliper of what it would take for the trigger to move back just to where it was breaking. It was right about that 0.62 inches, so not very much at all. Now, as far as your reset goes, you can, it does break, and it pretty much bottoms out there. There's no over travel, that what I'm seeing. So we'll reset it here, and then we will slowly creep it forward, reset, and you can see there was that difference. So if we move, screwed that one up for you, sorry guys. So we'll hold it here. I'm gonna go ahead and let it out slowly. There. So it's a very short reset distance. Break it, reset. I'm trying to control it best I can. So there it's reset. Didn't really take much forward movement. But look, if I go ahead and release, I have that little bit of let off, if you will. So it is a very nice reset if you're into reset shooting or whatever. I find that when I'm really trying to shoot fast, I just press the trigger fast. I don't know. I think sometimes this whole like pin and hold the trigger to reset or whatever is kind of overrated and a bunch of hawk phooey, because when I've seen people shoot really fast, like 12, 13, 14 splits or whatever, and I'm watching them under high speed footage, it's, yeah, whatever. Another topic. Actually, that is going to be another video topic, is trigger reset. But anyways, I like the feel of the trigger. It is a really nice trigger if you want a single stage trigger. The perceived creep is null. I mean, yes, there is some that I've showed you, but I'm not feeling that at all when I'm pressing the trigger, especially when I'm shooting. So really no issues there. Now, as far as how it's held up, I know this gun is dirty because I think I've cleaned it once, and that was when I put the trigger back in and I ran a few hundred rounds through it just to kind of see. So don't judge me here. So here is how it fared, and like I said, it is a little bit dirty, but that's to be expected after 3,000-ish rounds. No issues whatsoever. I'm not seeing any burrs, any peening, any damage, anything like that. The wear on the surfaces looks just fine. The disconnector looks just fine. No issues there. The hammer, oops, Butterfingers over here. Hammer looks just fine. So I'm not seeing anything to cause me concern. I mean, a little bit of surface wear from use, but zero issues. Now, the big question that you want to know is it worth it? Well, I'm a firm believer in buying a quality trigger for your rifle. It's one of those accessories that you literally use every time you go shoot, whereas some other accessories you only use some of the time or whatever, but a trigger is something you get the benefit of every time you're training, practicing, competing, you know, whatever it might be, you get the benefit of a high quality trigger. And yeah, I do like the Geissele triggers. Now, I like quality triggers no matter what, say single stage, double stage, personal preference. I'm a firm believer in buying a quality trigger. I think it's a really good investment in a quality firearm. If you're putting the money into a quality firearm, optic, everything else, a trigger is a no-brainer. And this is a fine specimen of a single stage trigger. Now, like I said, it's not the lightest out there as far as competition. It's not the very crispest or shortest reset like some of the other competition style triggers, but this is designed more towards that duty combat type market. And I quite frankly really like the fact that there is almost like a light switch. You have to kind of, well, actually you'd only go the one way and then you'd reset. But anyways, I do like the fact that it's more like a flip of a switch versus just that super lightweight glass rod, because I do want to know that there is a little bit of movement in, again, kind of that duty patrol, home defense type market. So I really do like it. For more information, you can search online for the Geissele SSP. Again, that is the single stage precision trigger from Geissele. I was very impressed with it. I had zero issues, no stoppages whatsoever, completely for my test. And all I did was wipe it out. When I swapped it between rifles, gave it a little bit of lube on the engagement surfaces and kept on rocking. The instructions go over lubrication. So if you're looking for a good quality, duty grade, single stage type trigger, I would definitely give the SSP a shout. I do appreciate you guys watching and spending a few minutes with me learning more about the SSP, and I appreciate your patience. For those of you that watched the first look video and were waiting for the review, I wouldn't hesitate to buy it. If you want to see your question get on the show, we do have a monthly QA episode where at the end of the month we answer your questions. You can go ahead and send an email to the email address shown below. That is theqa@gunsandtactics.com. If you guys did like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to get the word out. We want to keep the channel growing so we can do more cool things for you. Thank you guys very much for watching, and have a great day. We work really hard to make content that we hope you as a shooter would enjoy. Subscribe to our channel, check out our featured videos and playlists, and if you have a question firearms related, go ahead and send an email to the address shown on the screen to be entered into our monthly QA series.